Prep nerds, this is Tom. All right, let's cut right to the chase. I get a lot of questions about individuals and their prep for becoming a certified ASQ belt. So there's a lot of options, there's a lot of avenues individuals can take to achieve their certification. There are also different levels in which you can certify at. So the question I always get is, do I need to go through in a linear fashion and get my yellow belt, my green belt, and then my black belt? And the answer is, it depends, of course, right? So when you look at each of those individual belt levels, they play different roles in organizations. So your yellow belt is oftentimes a project team member. They don't really own the outcomes of a project in regards to a project that has huge demands. So they deliver value to the business, of course, because they're subject matter experts and they're on projects and they have the terms and the tools pretty well understood. So that makes them a great team member when they're working under a green belt or a black belt to do more complex change. Yellow belts often do support local level initiatives, so they're ad hoc improvement efforts that are targeted at reducing waste. And these projects are small in scale, harvesting the low hanging fruit could be done about 60 to 90 days. The green belt oftentimes operates under the direction of a black belt. The big difference between the green belt and the black belt is oftentimes the green belt's a part-time project manager, so they have other responsibilities. Whereas the black belt is full-time and their only responsibility is project work and making those projects a success. So both of them, the body of knowledge is very similar. In fact, the body of knowledge across all three belts are very similar. What makes a difference is the level of understanding. So in Bloom's taxonomy, there are different levels of understanding that each belt is expected to have in regards to where they're practicing. So the yellow belt is entry level, needs the basic understanding of what the tools and techniques are. So a lot of their taxonomy is being able to understand and describe. So kind of at the lower tiers of Bloom's. As you move up in your belt certification, you're going to be asked to not just understand or recite or describe, but to actually apply. So when it comes to data or team formation, inspiring culture, some of those more advanced responsibilities of being a belt, at a yellow belt level, you just need to understand that, hey, culture is important. But you don't have to persuade or influence or even design culture. That is something that has to be applied at the upper levels of the green belt and the black belt. Most definitely at the highest level of the master black belt. Their role at that level is to design strategy, influence culture, and create a continuous improvement environment for that organization. So a lot of overlap over the body of knowledges. So to certify in that sequence, I think it is quite costly to study and pay the membership fees and the exam fees. So if individuals want to make those investments, if they want to climb the ladder in that fashion, by all means, go that way. I chose personally to go right to the black belt level. And the reason I did that was because, one, I had an advanced degree and I had just come out of graduate school. So I was already in the study mindset and was used to taking tests. And I also studied business. So I had high business acumen and I specifically studied finance. So calculating ROI, net present value, break even, creating a business case, those things. I just spent 3 years in my education becoming more proficient in those things. So for me, my background gave me a level of comfort going right to black belt. So if you're an individual who, those things might be true for, or if you're a project manager, or you have quality improvement background, or maybe studied statistics and did really well at the analytics side of things in school, maybe you're in that position where you can go right for your black belt certification. But if you lack that confidence or you think you have gaps in your experience that you need to fill along the way, I think maybe going certification by certification by certification may make sense for you. Whether or not you study for and certify, do look at each individual body of knowledge and find a program and actually walk that path of going and learning what it is to be a white belt, looking and learning what it is to be a yellow belt, and then a green belt, and the black belt. Go through each of those training experiences, whether or not you take a certification exam at those levels. I think each experience, each simulation you participate in, each dialogue that you have, they all build on each other. And I think as a belt, one of the things, once you get to the black belt level or master black belt, so I'm certified through ASQ at the master black belt level, one of the big risk of certifying at that high level is the disconnect between what it's like to be fully in tuned to a tool and do it in some ways automatically because it's routine and it's just top of mind, and you've done it so much that there's grooves in those tools and it comes easy to you. Getting to that level of proficiency sometimes causes this knowing doing gap where you don't know how you do it. You just know that you know how to do it, so you do it automatically, and sometimes that makes it pretty hard to explain the tool to someone just starting on their improvement journey, such as the yellow belt. So walking that path and learning at all levels and just having awareness and good understanding of what it's like to be in that learner seat, I think will make you a better belt. So long-winded answer is it depends, and have conversations and really do some soul searching and make that decision based on your experiences and your level of risk, your level of comfort, and what individuals that you look up to and maybe who that mentor you. Ask them how they did it. I shared my experience. I went right for the black belt and it worked for me, but I was an individual who my whole life have really never had test anxiety, and because of that, my time to prepare, my timeline, my run rate to prepare was shorter. But if you're different, and everyone is different in the way they learn, in the way that they perform on exams, just take those things into account and make the decision that best suits your learning style and your level of preparedness. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me nerd out about becoming a black belt and talking to you about ways you can go about certifying. If you found value in this video, please know that we have a handful of other videos out there that we share with you and try to encourage you to use new tools or new thinking through. So please check those out. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like our content, and leave a comment below. As always, thanks for nerding out with us. Have a great day.